Hello students. So this particular video that I am going to make is for all those students, those who have been asking me time and again my classes and on messages that how to read a newspaper. Most of you have seen the newspaper. Probably in certain areas, those who have been watching this news, they might not have seen the newspaper the way I would like you to see and then read accordingly. So I'm just giving you a brief of the paper and then we'll talk how to read about this. So if you see a newspaper, normally you find the kind of, I'm just taking the example of the newspaper, the Times of India, because that is the corporate paper. I say that it uses the kind of corporate language. Apart from the Hindustan Times, I say this is a better paper to read for a beginner. So if you are a beginner, you have never read anything, any newspaper frequently, so you should begin with Times of India. Now the Times of India is the newspaper that has different segments you can see. One is the front page, that is definitely only one page there. Then you have another section that is called Time City section. It has around 8 to 10 pages. It can go to 12 to 14 or even 16 pages depending on the kind of advertisement they are there in the Times of India, because this newspaper has many ads also along with this. And then afterward, Time City section, there is Times Nation section that again has 6 to 8 pages. Normally it can vary depending upon the day. And after Times Nation, there is one section called editorial section. The Times of India has, most of the time it has only one page, but if you read Indian Express or the Hindu, then you find they have 2 pages for the editorial section. Then after editorial section, I'm taking the example of the Times of India. Then on left hand side the editorial section is there, and right hand side you find the paper, the section Times Business. It can have 1 or 2 pages, depends. And then at times there is a section of Times Global as well, and then you have Times Sports News varying 1 to 2 pages, and along with this you have a supplement section as well. That is, I hardly recommend anyone to read because that is just a fun kind of thing. But if you can just look into these kind, because supplements can vary depending on the season. If it's mango season, they will go about that only. If it is hot season, they will talk about, say, the winter, talking about sweaters and blazers, and so that we cannot really talk about. But only thing, as far as you as a student, you really need to read the main paper, and it contains these 7 sections in the Times of India. Now this is the front page of the Times of India of one of the dates that I have taken, for example, and this is the half top page of the Times of India, and another half of this particular page was only an advertisement. So this is the, normally you might have seen the papers like this. If you see this section, there is hardly any news which is complete. All the sections have been half, and they have been related report to page number so and so, page number so and so. Ultimately the editor wants that you should read the other pages as well. So half of the news is there, and then half the other news is somewhere in the other pages inside the newspaper. So this is one page. Then we have, see, this is, we call the full page that I was saying. The top page I showed you, then the lower half has right hand side there is a advertisement, and the left hand side some other news. Okay, and then you can see, if you go to page number, if you flip the page, then we come down to page number 2 and 3 or 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 or 9, whatever. So you can see in the top, that is, you find it is the Time City being written here, and again Time City is written here. This is Time City. Time City means if you are living in Bangalore or even in Agra or in Jaipur or in Delhi or Faridabad or in Noida, this particular section changes because there will be the news of your city only. Okay, but this is this section is from Delhi, so you find the news relating to Delhi only. Most of the news will be related to Delhi only. But if you are in Agra or in Jaipur somewhere, that will be according to your city only. Now here you find the news, which is normally 1 column news. This is 2 column news. This is 1 column news. This is just small 2 column news. Small section of this 1-2 column news. So there is a small news which are there, and half of the section is advertisement or some photographs is there. So this is Time City section, and then again another page of the Time City. You can see advertisement, that photographs, and then 1 or 2 odd news there. So that way you find Times City has got short news, one column, two column news are there. You can see this one column news. Then you can see this is three small column news. Again, same size. If you can see this, the content is really very less. You have to read, you find, and this Times City will be easy for you to read. I'll come back which to read and what not to read. I'm just trying to make you acquainted with the sections. Now let's see. This is now after that. If you flip the pages of Times City, then you come down to Times Nation. Here Times Nation, here Times Nation. Now you can see many tenders are being on the left hand side. Then on right hand side you find news relating to the nation level, the government policies, certain agendas and elections and certain things. So the government is whatever is the new policy coming, they are normally displayed here. So this is all the national front news. It may be from Kerala, it can be from UP or Bihar or Calcutta or somewhere, but they are related to the whole nation that way. So that way this is the Times Nation section is there. Afterward, then again I've shown you another page of the Times section, Times Nation. You can see the news size. Here if you see, this is the whole news. Comparative to the Times City section, this is whole news. CA rollout will impact Bengal, Assam polls. Whole news. So you really need to spend a lot of time when you come down to Times Nation. Okay. Now once you flip this Times Nation section, then you come down to left hand side editorial page, which I was talking to you, and then we have on the right hand side this is Time Business. Now if you see the Times Nation, if you see this editorial section, you find this one, welcome PUs 1 news, in Dragon's Jaws 2nd news, degenerative AI 3 news. So these 3 articles are given by 3 different people, and this why do they all love gold is 1 news, 1 editorial. Then undersea message, India get more cable label, then this is whole article. Then they have started giving a kind of cartoon for the sake of people to have some little fun, and this is this the speaking tree. This has been since I was young. I have seen this particular section here only. So this is another thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 6 sections which we are supposed to read in editorial section. Okay, and then on the right hand side now you have this Times Business, definitely economy and the different companies, who's manager, director, what are the share market and what all is happening in business section. You can read it here, and then another page of Times Business on the another side, and you can find Times Global. So global news from different Europe or maybe New York or something. Kind of you can get a bit of the geopolitics here as well. You can find it here, and then after that you have this Times Business, and then you have Times Sports there. You can read all this here, and that's all we have as far as the main page is concerned. And then we have this Daily Times section, which I was saying this is a supplement. Then you have movies here and certain other things and certain articles. So if you want your free time, you can read this Daily Times also. Ultimately, if you read, you get something to learn for sure. So these are the different sections that I will say. I'll roll back to the main page. I will go this front page. Now you've seen Times City, you've seen Times Nation, you've seen editorial section, Times Business, Times Global, and Times Sports. So Times main page, then Times City pages are there, Times City pages, then Times Nation is there, and then this editorial section left hand side, and Times Business on the right hand side, and then Times Global is there, and then you see Times Sport is there. So, and in the end, another supplement we have Daily Times. So this is the whole paper of the Times of India. Now, let's talk about a bit more about the editorial section. Now see what happens is, when you have to read the paper, what do we say is that you must read the sections, different sections in a different fashion. So what you should read? You first of all, you must read the Times City section most of the time. If you are a beginner, kindly go to page number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wherever you have Times City. Read those news. Someone ran away with someone's scooter, someone looted some money, a small murder or an accident. Whatever happens in a city, it's a small news. They will be like stories. You do not have to have the backdrop of this. Suppose you're talking about, any news which is geopolitics of suppose Israel war or Ukraine war or see electoral bonds, you really need to have the background of it. So there we are not worried. If you go to the this particular section of the Times City, there is no trail. You just read the news, you come to know someone has taken away money from someone's pocket and then he was, nabbed somewhere or this thing. So you read that there. So you have a fun, and while reading you get to know many words. Now what is required? Required is when you are reading the Times City section, whenever you're reading a newspaper, kindly keep one pen with you. Okay? And keep reading. Keep reading whatever time you have, 15 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, depends. You can take breaks, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, you can read it 4 times. But you must read it for 1 hour, 2 hours, depends. But if you are reading, keep a pen with you and keep underlining the keywords which you do not know. Read the news. Once you read the news, suppose there is a robbery. So you will read the news, you will come to know what the story was. But on the way, you might find a few words which you did not know. You have marked those words. That is what you have done. So by end of the session, say 1 hour, 2 hour, end of the day, you have 15-20 words which you have with you. That is what you have received. We are not worried about the news. I don't have to crack an IS exam, say for example, if you are not an MBA student. So my worry is not more of the news, my worry is more of the reading habit, and my worry is more of the vocabulary habit. So that's what I'm saying is, if you underline those words, you have many words with you. Now kindly note down those words somewhere and then write down the word meaning. So for a few days you read the Times City section. Once you find that you have understood Times City well, that now you are quite conversant with every word and all, so you go to Times Nation. And then you read Times Nation for a week or 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, depending upon your capacity. When you start feeling, okay, now this is handleable, I hardly find any new word here, then you come down to the editorial section and certain other sections. I'll come back to this again. So what is required is, I was just showing you the particular section of the editorial page. This is, you can see, welcome PUs is one column, one article. Dragon's Jaws is second article, Degenerative AI is the third, and this is Why Do They Love Gold is this fourth, and then fifth and the sixth. This is Speaking Tree. This is editorial page. Now if you want to show you the part by part, this is another page of editorial section of some other newspaper. Again you can see 3 news on the left hand side and 2 major articles, and then Speaking Tree is there. You can very well see them. Now one major news, that if you see this top news, missing voters, forgotten not gone, this is the news. Now you can see the level of news. So this is a huge news. You require 15-20 minutes to read. And then again on the left hand side, if you can see critic, it's crime. If critic isn't crime, that news is here for you. And again, why Hit Me Baby era was so toxic, again news. And Pain Point, again news. And this is the Speaking Tree. So when we read the editorial section, we come down to these particular pages. Again, there is one editorial section news. This again, there is another page of the editorial section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've shown you separately the sections. So it gives you a bit of the glimpse. Another page of the editorial section, again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've taken the example of the Times of India because this is readable for a beginner. Though you will find a difficulty a few times, like when you do not know the words, you might find difficult, but ultimately you will read it. And then this all is the news. Now, what I was saying is, you come down to reading, what section is, we were talking about the Times City. Now here I have kept one news for you, is the Times City news. Okay. If you know that there was one news that one foreign tourist was molested in one part of the country, and then she had to undergo a lot of agony and pain, and then a lot of hue and cry, all the things were happening. This news was there. I've taken only the headline. Now when I read the headline, groped and grabbed but undeterred, 2 foreign tourists tell their story. Now those who are intelligent people, they know the word meaning of grope, grabbed and undeterred. But I'm sure groping, those who have been watching this, grope hardly any people know groping. But groping is something you like this, groped, fondle or touch and stroke someone or for sexual pleasure, especially against their will. That is something groping. Sometimes suppose when you are in a room, say like this, so suppose there is complete dark, there is a power failure, then we get up and then try to, grope the walls and then try to find out where the switch is. That is groping. Again, this groping was that whatever they did with the woman, that is the groping, you can say. And then grabbed. You know this grabbing. You grab an opportunity, you grab the ball which was lying, which was coming to you, seize suddenly and roughly, that kind of treatment. And then undeterred. Persevering despite setbacks. Persevere means like when you have the ability to, continue fighting despite failures is known as persevere. So they're saying groped and grabbed, but undeterred. They did not, took a step back. They did not take a step back. So they just fought and fought and fought. They kept coming to the country despite knowing that there are certain elements in the country, those who have been doing this, but they did not bother much. They did not lose courage. That is what the undeterred. So you faced many problems in your exam, something, but you fought undeterred, say like this only. That is undeterred. So I have got 3 words now. I'm making these sentences also. I'm just trying to relate with something or the other. Then you can understand this. Now, another news is there. Ankit's mother calls for capital punishment for one of the accused. Most of you know capital punishment is what? Like death sentence, That's what the capital punishment is. But I'm sure hardly anyone knows why it is being called capital punishment. You can think of it. We never bothered to know why this is called capital punishment. Now this is the learning. See, Delhi is the capital of country, New York is the capital of country. So capital means that is the main point. The main part, capital is that. So the human body, main part is head. When the earlier era, when the kings used to kill the man who was to be sentenced, they used to cut the head, or they normally used to crush the head of the man under the elephant's foot and all. So ultimately they were killing the head. Here again, capital punishment is you are just trying to death sentences. That is why it has been called capital punishment. Hope you understand this. Now I have marked, I'm not going to read the news. This is for you to read. Okay, kindly read the whole news. Hold on to this particular page. I don't want to make the video long. People say normally my videos are very long. I can read it for 2 hours, not an issue, but you hardly watch it. So let me make it short. This news is there. If you see, I've marked the word pronouncing, that I have marked the word vehement. Then you have said antecedents. Then there is one word is detention. You can see the word is there, detention. Then we have the word rigorous. Now pronounce, everyone knows, is announce. So I've just marked the word. Capital punishment is death sentence, and then pronounce is declare or announce. The judge, the pronounced something. So that is pronounce. Vehemently opposed means, vehemently means very strongly, forcefully, intensely, vehemently opposed. And then antecedents having some relationship with the earlier. Certain times we say the antecedent of something. In mathematics you might have heard this thing. So here with the antecedent is a thing or event that existed before. That is, the victim had no antecedents, the judge was saying. So that is antecedent. And then detention. Normally the victim is detained, said that way, keep someone in official custody, that is detention hai. And then again there is rigorous. So rigorous is harsh and demanding. That is, rigorous punishment has been given, rigorous imprisonment has been awarded to the fellow. That is rigorous. I don't know how many words. Probably, I'm sure those who have been watching, even 50% people do not know the exact usage of the word. They know, I know something. But when you come down writing your articles, when you go to exams and then you see the word there, you know something of the kind, but you do not know whether it is adjective, whether it is pronoun, whether it is this adverb, what it is, and what is the exact usage of it. And that is what we are learning newspaper for. We are not learning कि Ankit's mother wanted this particular punishment. That is none of my business as far as the learning goes. So I, for the learning as a reader of the newspaper, for the sake of my exams, I really need to learn the words. That is what I am doing. So mark value reading, don't worry. After that you come down, note down somewhere and then write down the meaning from the dictionary and then try to make sentences. And again, another news, power subsidy scheme extended till next March. This is Delhi, that the Delhi government has given some subsidy on the power bill and all. So there is something, they are saying it has been extended till next March. This is the news. And then hardly any word I could find, but I could find the word on the right hand side. You can see there's one word, hinder, then one to halt, and then one word I could find, a reiterate. Hinder, hindrance, some kind of, make it difficult for someone to do something. So this kind of, the particular person is hindering your growth, that way we can say hinder. And then halt, you want to stop something, come to a halt kind of thing. Army people, the commander is saying halt, everyone stops. So the work comes to a halt when there is no power. The whole household work come to halt, that way something halt. You read the news, you understand what it is, and reiterate. But here it is written, what we reiterate our long-standing demand. Reiterate means repeat. Say something again and repeatedly, that is reiterate. That is 3 words we can read from the whole thing. See, gradually you might find that you're taking time, but gradually you find that those words are repeated in the newspaper regularly, the kind of news. Again, there is one news, global drug racket, Tamil producer held. You might have heard of this news. Okay. Now you can see the word drug cartel, spanning, make narcotic drugs, then trafficking, proceeds. These are the words I could find. So I have noted down the word drug racket, a fraudulent scheme for obtaining money. Everybody knows drug racket, but what is this? Fraudulent means that is fraud. And then drug cartel is a kind of manufacturer's kind of association, a group. And then span is, extending, span, that is spanning. And then is proceeds, kind of money obtained from an event or activity, whatever they were doing, the illegal kind of this thing, then he got some proceed. You can see Sadiq is believed to have told NCB that he got rupees 1 lakh per kg as cut from the smuggling proceeds, whatever the earning was. That is what he was saying is. And then trafficking, that is, human trafficking is not allowed. Then illegal something of something is known as the drugs also is trafficking. And then narcotic drugs, kind of, that cause addiction and something, that is. And pseudo ephedrine, kind of fake drug, the name of some drug that causes, kind of. So these are the drugs. So what I was saying is, these are the words that when I read, I could understand. Then ephedrine is a kind of technical name of a particular drug. We really need to search what it is. I did not know much, but I know the kind of news. But pseudo, whenever it comes, is fake. That is pseudonym. You might have heard of the writers, those who do not write their name. The pseudo, whenever it comes, is fake. So now these are the 7 words there. So that is the way you really need to spend time with it. I've shown this here. Now you can see on the left hand side I could hardly find any news, any word, but right hand side I could find congregation, deployed, and then I could find tranquility, and then I could find the word sparked outrage. These are the 5 words I could find. Congregation is a group of people for religious worship. Deployed, army is deployed, military action. Tranquility is calmness. Spark, ignite, and then outrage is kind of anger. Then this 3 slum dwellers. Again, this times. So far we are at Time City News. So I'm just showing you the words that I have noted down somewhere. This is this thing. When you read, kindly read, and then see. Are you able to find the words? And then you can go down to my slide, and then you can see what it is. What are the word meaning? And then again, this is Time City News. Huge news is there, and there are many words I could find in this particular news. Merchants of Death gang that supplied fake medicines busted. Fake medicines are being produced in the country, in many parts of the country, and then it is harming everyone. So you can see one news is giving you 16 words to know. And you see this 8th word, nab. Normally police says we will nab the culprit. They do not say we catch the culprit. They say we will nab the culprit. You find this nab word everywhere when the police says. So now you know what this nab word is. You know the word allege. It is again a kind of allegation that you find that words are being repeated time and again, time and again, time and again. And then now we come down to the Times Nation news. Now you see the news, huge news, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-column news is there, this whole thing. Hamas and Israel and something of the kind. Now you see the news and the kind of words that I could find in this particular news, the 8 words I could find. Okay, I try to find all the words for you. You may be knowing, you may not be knowing. But anyway, instead of just saying stumble block, I know it is like you fall down, but you can say it is not stumble block, is fall down, it is like kind of obstacle. You stumble, then it is a fall. Okay, then how many of you know that hang fire is a kind of the phrase? It means got delayed. I myself did not know hang fire means got delayed. I just checked the dictionary. What does it mean? Then I could understand. Okay, got delayed. Hang fired. I was thinking something else. When I saw, then I realized. Okay, this is got delayed. Anybody see? I myself is not an encyclopedia. English is such a language. You really need to keep learning words. So something of kind of thing. You keep trading blames. One can understand they are alligating each other, trading blame. That is what the case is. And again, you see this is the front news. Now, when I read this particular page, very small news, but you can see on the left hand side, I could find gutted and engulfed. Then I could find probe, but then wet. I could find then this rocked the state. Then I found the looming word there. Then clinches. There are many words I could find. So I just noted down those words here for the sake of gathering information for you. So if you see the 14th word, wild goose chase, a phrase, rocked the stage, a kind of phrase. Now you learn this. Wild goose chase is a foolish and hopeless search or pursuit of something unattainable. They call it wild goose chase. Now again you can see 11th word, again nab word is being given there. Then gutted is totally burned. Normally when you say that particular factory in fire is gutted, the huts are in gutted. That is why I say gutted is the word being used there. So if 15 words are there, those who are watching probably may know 5, 7, 10 words, but still you do not know 5 words. It means that is the learning. So don't think I'll read. No, if you're reading, then you find that 15 words now today, probably next day when you're reading, you will be knowing these 15 words. The next day you will note down fewer words in that case. Again, this is one news of the editorial section. You read in Dragon's Jaws. Probably when you read, understand dragon means China. Now, for knowing the editorial section, you must read the front page. The front page you read Times City for some time, then you read Times Nation for some time. When you have to read the editorial page, what you should do? You should read the front page for some time. Front page, you know what the news is talking. And then you come down to the editorial page. And believe you me, if you have installed that kind of shorts kind of app in your mobile, kindly delete it today only. Because once you read a news in the shorts, you lose the interest in reading a news. And kindly don't watch TV news. I'm not saying some other reason, but the reason is when you reach, because there is a particular type of news is there, and particular frequency of news is there, particular mandate is been set in the news there, and then you do not find the critic. So stop watching those news, because when you watch, you have kind of learning poor, because the reason retention is very less in that case. So forget about TV watching, forget about reading the shorts in the mobile, read newspaper. You have to read physical newspaper. No online newspaper will work, because where will you mark? So don't try to be smart. So just smart is like, here smart work is to be foolish. Like consider that I'm 6th class student for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. And then once you know, then you read news. There is editorial, then that's all right. So when you come down to, once you read Times Nation for a month or two, then you read Times Nation for a month or two, then you come down to editorial, and then after that you do not worry much about the Times Nation and Times this thing, forget about that. Only job left is reading the editorial page and the front page, and then economics page, that is the business page. That's it. These 3 pages we have to read, then it will take only 1 hour. Initially it will take 2 hours, 3 hours for you. For a learner it may take 3-4 hours. But gradually the more you read the newspaper, the lesser will be the time. So when I read this in Dragon's Jaw, I could understand what is he talking about, and then I had a bit of the idea what is happening. And then I read the whole news. It has basically been talking Maldives president so and so sticking to his guns. Now gung ho is a kind of phrase, and then sticking to guns is another phrase. And then I read this thing, and then I find many words underneath. You can see how many words are there. These many words are there. Now, when you read, you realize, I suggest everyone, don't think, okay, well, I've seen the video, I'll do. I suggest you hold my video here for a while and then read this news. And then think, how many words do I know? If you do not know many words, it means you really need to do some work. And then you see what the teacher has done for you. This is what I can do. Ultimately, nothing else can be done. When people are reading, when people are teaching newspaper reading, what are they doing? They're reading line by line every day. They've been teaching. Ultimately, read you have to do. The teacher is reading there for your sake, but you really need to know how much to read, where to make a stop, and how to pick up the meaning. This is all your ability. The reading habit will come only once you read. No teacher can teach you how to read. You have to read and then note down the word meaning. If you get stuck somewhere, we are there to help you. I have been giving my number. My number is there on the slide as well. I always welcome everyone to speak to me. If you find anything difficult, you underline the word and then send the pic to me. I try to help people whatever best I can. I'm not an encyclopedia, but I still try my best whatever I can. So this is the way. Now this speaking tree. Now you can see how many words are there. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you because this will take hours together. Okay. So this is the case. Now this was the fantastic news for securing Bengaluru's water future. Let us look to its past. How beautifully she has written that how this city was the city of lakes, and then how they have destroyed the whole system and now come to a collapse. If you know the story, you know what is happening, and Delhi is not far behind, Jaipur is not far behind. We will see this future in another 5 to 10 years. We'll have the same situation lying because government is busy in something else, everybody is busy in something else. But people are talking about chat GPT and AI and everything, and government is talking about elections, and someone is talking about finances. But when you do not have water, everything will come to standstill. Then you will be having a bucket and being a line in somewhere, and rich will be buying Bisleri with money. But common man, India is a country of poor people. 70% of still people have been below poverty line. If 80 crore people are being fed free ration, it means out of 140 crore people, then you can understand the situation. Are we in a state that we can buy water? No. It means we really need to look into smaller things as well, my dear. But once you read this news, you will be concerned. Otherwise, you will be concerned with something else, my dear. But these are the things are also very, very important. Read, then you will be enlightened citizen. I'm not saying that you should not talk about other things. But I'm saying if you read, you realize, oh, this is happening. You will be a civilized human being. You will be a civilized fellow, good citizen. So read this article. You will feel enthralled, I'm sure of it. And then, relatively speaking, this is then again degenerative AI. She's talked beautifully written. And then I read this photos and power. It's altogether a different style of writing. Gandhi Way. This man Jag Surya he writes articles in a different genre only. I'm mesmerized when I read his style of writing. You will love him when you start reading him. Okay, so these are the things which I found that one can see. I have done a lot of exercise for you to just get acquainted. I am sure if you read what I have done for you, you will take at least 3 hours to finish my this particular PPT. Okay, now this way you have to store words, and then if you're storing words, acquiring words and everything, we come down to this. What ultimately we need to do is, when I was saying that you read Times Nation, then I said you read you read Times City, then Times Nation, then editorial, main page and the global, and business, and then global. So whenever you're reading what is desired, keep a diary with you. I say, note down the words in you. Consider you are a 6th class student. Make it a habit for 6 months. I can guarantee you will send me a thank you after 6 months. But you have to do it religiously for some time. Number all the pages in your diary, then make an index in front of this thing, write down, and then leave certain pages for every alphabet, okay? Every letter, sorry, A to Z. And then note down words alphabetically on this diary. A word has to be in A section, B word has to be in B section, and that's it. And similarly, write their meanings as well there now. When you are reading, you don't have to stop, you just underline, but once you have read, mark the words in different section and then you write the meanings there. This is time consuming thing. It's painstaking. In the initial stages, you will feel demoralized that I am done BTech, but I do not know. This time consuming. No, I will do in the exam. You will fail. I can guarantee you, because when you are doing a CAT exam, when you are taking BMS exam, when you are taking CUT exam, see, these are highly qualified people are taking these exams as well. And the seats are a few, but contenders are millions. And you don't think that you are the only one who is intelligent. Many more intelligent people are there. So if you have to compete with them, you have to spend time. What have you not done in 17, 20 years, you will need to do now. So don't feel demoralized, though you will feel, but try to hold your spirit. Write their meaning as well. Make sentences if possible. I say make sentences. Revise these words frequently. Revise 15 days, 10 days, revise. Initially, there will be many words which you do not know, but in a month, the words will repeat. So when if you're taking, every day you're getting 40 words, you find then you're taking 20 words, then you find the 10 words, then you have a lot of words in your diary, you are revising them, you feel confident, start using them in daily life, wherever in Insta or Facebook or WhatsApp. Don't write message in Hindi, write in English, make English a service language, my dear. Come here, let's go, and then it is easy. And then read the newspaper religiously for 1 month at least without skipping a day. Religiously means the way you do puja and all. If you do not do puja, one day you feel that God will punish you. Consider that way only. Read it for 1 month, 30 days. And then you will find a marked improvement in your vocabulary and knowledge in 1 month. And if you do it for 1 month, I can guarantee you will be doing for 6 more months. And then ultimately, practice is what you really need to. The act is required. What is required is, people have been asking what all newspapers you really need to read. I say, read Times of India in the beginning. Then Times of India, we have seen the kind of, I say, tentative period of the period that one takes to get acquainted with the section is this only. And then afterwards, you have to read the Indian Express. I suggest Indian Express, but those who have been taking IS exam and all, they can do Hindu as well. But Indian Express will solve most of the problems for everyone. This is my opinion. I'm not saying that you do this. Choice is still yours. Newspaper is there in the market, but still I say. And then once you are well acquainted with the newspaper, kindly don't stop reading. Read Indian Express throughout your life, but Economic Times you can read if you have interest, you have the guts to read. Read Economic Times just before your exams, 1 month prior to exams. Kindly read Economic Times. It will prepare you for tougher words. It will prepare you for your interviews as well. Okay, what I say is, and newspaper you have to read for 2 hours every day for a student, a beginner. But gradually you find that you have reduced this time from 2 hours to 1 hour. But if it is a CAT student, it's a what you call as a BMS student. If it's a CUT student, if it's kind of law student, if it's a SSC student, I think you really need to spend 2 hours every day, because this is do or die fight. In English, you have no syllabus. This is, you have to just read. See, all exams, when you take the exam, even SSC or banking or CUT, whatever, you find what is the agenda of the paper. Hardly any grammar. Grammar is just 20%. Rest is reading comprehension and vocabulary. Just see this. I can guarantee you on this, you realize this. But when you go to YouTube and all this, 90% of people are teaching you grammar. But grammar will not make you clear the exam. Grammar will just engage you in English. But if you want to clear your exam, if you want to top your exam, you really need to read more and acquire more vocabulary. You see any paper. I can guarantee challenge. If even you don't read grammar now, and if you're a BTech student, if a Delhi University student, you will make 7-10 questions out of 20 in grammar. But grammar is just 20-hour job. It is all technical. That's it. But reading comprehension, vocabulary is not technical, my dear. Drop by drop, you find your picture filled. It takes time. It's painstaking thing. So kindly read and practice for at least 3 months. I say 3 months. You can try for more than that. So that is the way you really need to read the newspaper. Hope you have understood the logic behind all the things that we really need to. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you will implement this reading in your life. God bless you. Thank you very much.